بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله وكفى وصلاة وسلاما على عباده الذين اصطفى. Assalamu alaikum and good evening everyone. In the beginning I would like to take this opportunity to thank the Center of International and Regional Studies at Georgetown University, Qatar, for inviting me to participate in this event. The organizers wanted me to talk today briefly about the Qatari legal system. This topic is usually covered in a 4-year degree bachelor at Qatar University College of Law, but I hope that you can bear with me. Within a few minutes, I'll be providing some glimpses over the Qatari regulations, judicial and legislative sectors, and ending with the relation between the legislations and the developments in Qatar. Before we start, we have to identify the law concept. Law is a set of binding, general, and abstract rules which governs the behaviors and the relations in a society, the obedience of which is imposed by sanctions enforced by the public authority. Now, if this is the definition of law, then we can see that there are two important elements within this definition. The first one is the general and binding and abstract rules, and the second one is the sanctions enforced by the public authority. It is clear that the Qatari legislations are divided into two main categories after defining these concepts. The first one is a public law, which is basically involve the public authority, such as international law, constitutional law, and criminal law. The second category is a private law, which involves the individual relations, such as the civil law and the commercial law, and maritime law, aviation, and family law, as an examples. If this is the concept of law, then some people would say that there is no society without law. Security and stability cannot prevail in a nation if chaos is spread, and where everyone seeks to grab his rights without taking notice or care of the rights of the others. Chaos definitely is the law of the jungle, where the dominance is for the strongest and sovereignty is for the person who can overpower the others. A French philosopher once said that when everyone can do what they want to do, no one can do what he wants. And when there is no master, everyone is a master. And where everyone is a master, everyone is a slave. If the application of law means fighting chaos in a society, then there is a very close connection between law and public power. Since early ages, people of a society would refer to the custom to solve their disputes. And nowadays, it's one of the key components between the sources of law. In addition, the religion was also considered as a legislative reference in the past and present. Thus, it will be majorly incorrect to say that the history of law in Qatar was started with the issuance of the official gazette in the 1960s. Because the Qatari society, throughout the history, remained under the Islamic Sharia since the 7th century, in general organizations matters and individual transactions. The citizens used to refer their cases to the Sharia judiciary. Similarly, the pearl diving, which was one of the main occupations in Qatar, used to go to what we call in Arabic by Qada al-Salfa, which is a Salfa judiciary, which is basically a group of specialized and well-known people in this occupation. It is also a method of dispute resolution according to the custom at that period of time. And in the modern age, the Gulf countries has passed by a period of British mandate. However, the prevailing law in the country and between its citizens was the Sharia law with its judicial sector. Nevertheless, the British, according to the agreements with the Gulf governors, created in its establishments courts of law affiliated with the British Crown. Each court in the Gulf includes a British judge to rule over disputes between the citizens of the Commonwealth countries. When Qatar declared its independence in 1971, the British courts were eliminated and replaced by the Qatari justice courts according to the law number 13 for the year 1971. The new established court received the full authority to rule over cases related to the civil, commercial, and criminal law cases, while another judicial entity called the Sharia Court is specialized in family disputes, inheritance, and other Islamic-related issues. Nowadays, after the adoption of the latest judiciary law, number 10 for the year 2003, both judicial entities, Sharia and Justice, have merged into one entity called the Qatari courts. And in 2005, the Courts of Cassation was established to be the highest level of courts in the judiciary sectors, similar in the US to the US Supreme Court, which is the highest level. Along with this dramatic change in the judiciary sector, a similar wave of change has reached the Qatari legislations to adopt the current situation, especially after the period of discovering oil in the country and using it as an important source of income. For example, the penal law in Qatar, 1971, was replaced by the new law, number 11 for the year 2004, similar to the labor law in 2004, civil law, and commercial law as well. In addition to the latest Qatari Constitution 2004, replacing the one in 1972, which contains a set of fundamental principles related to the Emir, the legislative sector, human rights, and other important issues. Article 1 of the Constitution states that Qatar is an independent Arab state. Islam is the state's religion, and the Islamic Sharia is the main source of its legislation. In addition, family law was adopted in Qatar for the first time in 2006, meaning that before that, the courts would apply the provisions stipulated in the approved books of Sharia jurisprudence. From a commercial perspective, Qatar's economy has been dramatically booming in a way that creates a great attention. This flourish of business in the area has produced a maximum desire from countries across the globe to get involved in this beneficial economical movement through establishing branches of their corporations and institutions and heavily investing in the country. Now, taking in consideration the importance of economic globalization to Qatar, as well as opening the door for foreign investments, the Qatari legislator has recognized and supported this movement by adopting the law of foreign capital investments in economic activities, the law number 13 for the year 2000. This law came to ease the legal process on foreign investments and magnetize overseas investors towards Qatar. Also, the government has established the Qatar Financial Center to accomplish the same purpose. In addition, the Qatari regulations came into agreement with the international law, especially in the field of business. As an example, the law number 27 for the year 2006, the law of commerce in Qatar, has stated clearly in Article 143 that rules of international regulations issued by the International Chamber of Commerce shall cover the types of sale which are not covered by this law. Also, the Article 216, that the provisions of transportation contracts stimulated in this chapter shall apply to air transportation in the absence of any special text in this part, notwithstanding the international agreements to which the state is a party. For how the law is issued in Qatar, this is an important question, and I always hear it publicly. Now, the law is originally created as a draft prepared by a specialized legal committees in the Council of Ministers upon a proposal from one of the ministries. Let's say, for example, that the Supreme Council of Health would like to propose a law to stop public smoking, for example. So they will write this proposal and send it to the Council of Ministers, to this specialized committees, the legislative committees. The committees will directly send it to the general meeting for the Council of Ministers to express their opinion. If it passed, the Council of Ministers will send it to the Shura Council for consideration and opinion. The Shura Council is the advisory council here in Qatar. If it's passed, the Shura Council would return it back as a draft to the Councils of Ministers, where a decision will be issued and refer this draft finally to the office of His Highness the Emir for issuance. If the Emir signs the law, then the law will be sent automatically to the competent department and the Ministry of Justice for its publication in the official gazette, in preparation for its application in the public life. Now, publication means, in this sense, registering the legal existence of the legislations and putting it into a practice by allowing the public authority to implement it as one of the state's legislation. As for the publishing that leads the public knowledge, it provides the opportunity for all to become aware of this legislation, and it is the announcement of the law in the official gazettes and the entry into force of legislation and its implementation upon publication. It's also quite crucial to emphasize that the Qatari legislations are mostly similar in its content to the legislations in the Gulf region and the Arab world, except to Sudan at a certain period of time, where they were following the common law system at a certain period of time, but I believe that has changed nowadays. Without a reasonable doubt, the Egyptian legislations have a great impact on the legislations in the Arab world in drafting their regulations, as Egypt occupy a high position in the legal development among the Arab countries. And please allow me to end with this. Nowadays, Qatar is engaged in a tremendous number of high-valued projects, which were approved by the government. According to a website called projectqatar.com, the country is involved in approximately 250 billion US dollars projects related to the preparation of the FIFA World Cup 2022, establishing modern railroad, hotels, building and expanding roads. To provide a full legal protection to these projects from any misinterpretation of the law, the regulations of the country must be solid and vivid in illustrating the rights and obligations of each type of business, especially with regulations concerning insurance and construction. We still believe currently that these two important types of contracts should be emphasized in all aspects. According to the Global Competitiveness Ranking in 2011-2012, Qatar was ranked the 14th to be on top of all GCC and Middle East countries. This fact definitely should continuously notify the legislators and lawmakers in the country to cope with this ultimate developments in the different fields of law by reviewing the existing laws and providing new reliable regulations that would legally protect the new move of developments in Qatar. I don't want to take more of your time. I would like to thank you very much for listening, and I will be more than happy to get your questions. Thank you.